The first Africanized bees in San Diego County were discovered in 1994. Since then, the species continues to migrate northward, and a new study finds the bees are approaching Sacramento. My guest, Joshua Cohn, professor of biology at UC San Diego, co-authored the study. And Joshua, how many bee species are there here in the U.S., and how did Africanized bees actually get to California?
So most people think of bees as honeybees, but there are many, many species of bees, many of which are not social. They're called solitary bees. And in San Diego, we are a global biodiversity hotspot, and there's over 500 species of bees that are native to San Diego.
And is it easy well, how'd they get here, actually? How did the Africanized bees get here?
So first of all, European honeybees in general, got here from, by Europeans bringing them for honey production. And for breeding purposes, African bees were brought to Brazil some decades ago. And unfortunately, some escaped and have been hybridizing with European honeybees from Brazil south into Argentina and north now all the way to California.
So now we've got these hybrid bees, as you call them. Is it easy to spot the difference between, say, an Africanized bee and a regular honeybee here in San Diego?
Even an expert cannot by eye tell an Africanized honeybee from a European honeybee.
So you would have to measure or do something else?
So we use genetic tools or a set of careful measurements to distinguish the bees.
Yeah, and we were looking at an Africanized bee, which looks like every other honeybee here, so it's hard to tell the difference. How likely is it to see Africanized bees here, let's say in your front yard or backyard in San Diego?
So we collected honeybee workers everywhere in San Diego County, both in urban areas and in the backcountry, and about 2/3 of those honeybees are Africanized.
And they're called foraging or feral bees, right?
Well, we showed also that these bees are largely not from classic managed hives, those white boxes that you see, but are feral, wild honeybees.
All right, now earlier this month, a Riverside construction worker was actually stung to death after approaching an Africanized hive. Since San Diego County has a majority, I understand, of their honeybees are Africanized, is there a higher risk of a bee attack here?
There's a higher risk than there was before 1994. It's still not a terribly high risk. There are many lovely activities to do outside in San Diego, and I wouldn't say that this should prevent anybody from going around. And I should also say that those worker bees that you see are not the danger. It's only when you approach a hive that aggression is observed.
Right, I understand that aggression is, protecting the hive and swarming and things like that. What are the benefits of having these hybrid bees here?
Well, these Africanized bees have replaced European bees everywhere from Brazil north to California, so they must have some advantages over the European form, and maybe we can put some of those to use. So they may be more disease resistant than European bees, and we might in fact be able to use some of their genetic diversity to breed a better, more resistant managed honeybee.
Now, your study actually tracked the migration of these bees here upwards toward Sacramento. And so how far are they likely to go? Are they going to keep going upward and outward?
Well, nobody really knows. There's been some predictions made based on how far south into Argentina they got, and then predicting based on the climate there, how far north they would get here. They've already exceeded those predictions somewhat, but we've also been having warmer and warmer weather. So I think those predictions are pretty accurate, and that they're not likely to go a whole lot farther north.
Because of the...
Because they do more poorly where winters are cold.
I see. Now, you're currently studying Africanized bees' DNA. What do you hope to find there?
We hope to find what genomic regions come from Africa versus Europe, and what genes are in those regions, and ultimately perhaps find the regions of the genome that are responsible for aggression, and we could breed the rest of the African genes in and leave those out, and perhaps make a better honeybee for agricultural purposes.
All right. Well, Joshua Cohn, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.